Hey everyone, Senrai here. Today I'm going to be watching the 9th episode of the 2nd season of Mushoku Tensei. Yeah, pretty crazy to think that we're already 9 episodes into this new season. But yeah, last episode was certainly eventful, I would say. I mean, Claire, from the one hand, was able to do the seemingly impossible task of taming the bicycle. And we also have the Kiri-chan fiance, Bodygabi, show up. And, 1v1 Rudy. And Rudy won based on the rules of the competition, and now is also kind of a student there. So you could say, yeah, last episode things went down. So yeah, let's jump into episode 9 and see where we go from here. If you enjoy the video, please click the like button and support me on Patreon and all that good stuff. And yeah, 3, 2, 1, play. Okay, our trio walking down the hall. Not who I was referring to, but they're here too. Well, then don't put it near his face. It was your bad. I mean, I think he likes a lot of types of girls. Oh. Oh, Sylvie. She's not exactly a subtle one, is she? She's making a big old mess. I love the giggle inside the words there. Jeez, just cutting deep there. I mean, I'm sure he remembers you as a person. Just doesn't, not making the connection with your new appearance. I mean, I definitely get where she's coming from, but you can't just do that. It's not a good solution. But I'm glad it looks like we're actually going to focus on the Rudy Sophie dynamic here this episode, which I'm all for. Okay. Yeah, any hair color, Sophie is still adorable. But yeah, it looks like we're definitely going to shift over to that, which yeah, hopefully we can make some real progress. I mean, I would just be happy if we end off the episode and with Rudy actually knowing who this is. Like, that would be enough for me. Like, it'd be great if they do manage to bang in this episode, but I would also be happy if we saved that for the next episode. I need him to know who she is. And I want a hug. I want some tears. I want Rudy to talk about how happy he is to finally see his childhood friend again. That's what I want. I guess now I know why it shows those two like that. The bird imagery in this is so strong. You could be mistaken in thinking this is an Attack on Titan opening. Oh, okay, I was wondering what I was looking at. It was a book. 3 books. Well, yeah. Weren't you some into this world, sort of? I know it's different, but... You just always go to Fit Senpai for everything, don't we? Are you awake, Fit Senpai? I was paying attention, I promise. Okay, can we meet this person? Ariel? Like, doesn't really narrow it down. Okay. Inventing uniforms and blackboards. That's pretty important. Okay, have we seen this character before? Also, is she wearing a face mask? Okay, this could be interesting. I mean, she seemed quite cute from the shot we got, so I'm sure she's a fun one. I mean, just look at that long black hair. I mean, he has a red-haired friend, a green-haired friend. You need a black-haired friend. Oh. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I didn't really make the connection until... Yeah. Yeah, that shocked look, but... Because I usually just think about, the one that actually stabbed him, but, she was there too. Uh, but wasn't she the one that, like, talked him down from finishing him off or whatever? I'm trying to remember the scene, but... I think she was the one trying to stop him. Either way, yeah, the trauma's real. But yeah, I did not realize who she was until he started freaking out. Then it all clicked. Can you please speak Nihongo? Hidoi yume o mimashita. I don't think she, at least not this time, she didn't try to hurt you or anything. That's a line. I don't think he's here. I think you can calm down. I can't read both subs. It frustrates me. I mean, the short ones I can, but... Yeah, she wouldn't know about that. She wasn't there. Yeah, that's pretty telling. Yeah, that would be it. Or I'll stab you. What are we looking at? Japanese, huh? Why, yes. Yeah, I don't think that's either of them. Or, no. Oh, now we switched to... Okay. For a second. I know it's never actually Japanese, but you know what I mean. Or maybe it actually is then, okay. Never mind. Is she actually... Are we actually implying that she... Oh my god, I have such chills right now. That is... Yeah, we did see her very briefly for episode 1. Nanahoshi. Wow, what a reveal. And she is quite pretty, damn. Yeah, but unlike him, she actually looks pretty much like she did before. Man, I have so much to process right now. I know I was slow to piece things together, forgive me, but I got it all now. Because it also explains why they were, not doing the usual for the audience translation, because they wanted to make it noticeable when she speaks actual Japanese. Yeah, really. It's gonna take a minute for him to be calm around you, I think, but yeah, that is a very special thing to happen, meet somebody from your old world, same country. But man, what a development. Yeah, he's pretty happy here. I mean, well, happy is a strong word. He prefers it here. Yeah, I was about to say, she did not understand any of that, so she's just gonna be confused. Gotta work on your reps. Damn, shots fired. At like 90% of the Isekai shows. I was kind of hoping that Sophie would say translated weebs, but. But man, he's like never been able to have this kind of conversation with anyone, so this is such a big deal. And what a thing to have happen. Such a powerful being take you in. Almost makes her seem more like the anime protagonist. Wonder if she's gonna try to learn the language. You were just another Tuesday. Yeah, because even back then, she wasn't really our enemy, personally. Good question. Does he owe him money or something? I kind of figured that much. But what's with those names, though? I don't recognize them. They're obviously very Japanese-sounding names, but... Sure. Well, thank you. So, different than the man god? So, like, yeah, the body, immune system, and all that. Don't you read? Yeah, I mean, I don't really associate that with sci-fi as much, but... You don't? Yeah. Sucks to be you. Oh, he has a lot. He worked hard with it as a 3-year-old. Well, yeah. He thoroughly has a body of this world, so it's very different. Yeah, very interesting stuff we're getting this episode. That must be nice, yeah. But it's weird that she's at the school without mana. I didn't really think about the fact that she looks the same age until I brought it up, but yeah. Oh. The zoom in makes me a little bit worried about it. Tatako. Man, tell us how you really feel. Help me get home. Is that where this is going? Because he doesn't want to go back there. He has no reason to. What a difference between these two. No. Not no. I mean, parents are dead. Siblings broke his stuff, kicked him out. Not much to go back to. You know, with the masks, she really does remind me of that one character from Naruto. I want to say her name was Haku, with the mirrors and the needles and stuff. It's been a long time since I watched Naruto. Man, Sophie has me feel really out of place in this conversation. Hearing a Japanese saying, very reassuring. do we have a tattletale over there? Man, just Sophie has to be freaking so bored over there. Just all this weeb speak in front of her, just doesn't know what to do. The backlash. Oh, you? Really? What did you do? I guess attempt to summon herself back to her own world, cause other people to move. There's a line. Just glad it wasn't my fault. Just. Oh, damn! Wow, that escalated. That scream just like pierced through me. I guess I know what she put on the rings. Like, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen her like this. That really. Well, attacking is not going to change anything. Yeah, I mean, she missed most of the conversation, so. Yeah, maybe you should have. And she was about to murder you. I like to imagine half of that was just a frustration of being left out of the conversation for so long. Not very helpful. Isn't she like, what's her nickname? Silent Shizuka? So yeah, probably not a big fan of talking. Oh man, what a scene that was. Jeez. That's just so much to process. Here I was thinking the focus would be on Sylphie. Silly me. I mean, Sylphie was in the scene, but very small part of it. She's quite pretty, but doesn't seem like a bad person. She just, she has her goals. Feel like it's more or less all that matters to her. Getting back home. So as long as your goals don't contradict hers, there's probably not too much to worry about. It's easy to forget how much taller he is than her, but when you see him side by side like that, it's pretty clear. The white mask. And now we know who wears the white mask. So yeah, we did not get the Sylphie identity reveal this episode, sadly. We got a lot of other reveals though, so can't really complain. We also did not get our small child this episode. I'm sure she's still working hard behind the scenes though. How that back has grown. These feelings, kono kimochi. Okay. Well, that was the 9th episode of Mushoku Tensei Season 2. And it was a doozy, if I do say so myself. Like, early on, we started off with Sylphie just making it clear how much, how she feels about Rudy, how he's very much at the front of her mind pretty much all the time. And as a result, I thought we were going to have some of those feelings maybe, communicated, or at least like, maybe this would be like a date episode between the two of them, and somewhere along the lines, she would reveal her identity to him. Like, that's kind of where my mind was, but no, that was not true. What we actually got was a new character. Well, new, but yeah. So, because he was looking for somebody that was an expert on summoning, right? Yeah. A summoning specialist. I clicked the wrong button. Crap. Gotta go back to where I was. The special student, Silent 7-star. So is that just what I should have called her? I don't know if we got any other name from her in this episode. I was gonna call her Silent. But, yeah, he did meet up with her. And, yeah, I've already talked about this bit enough, but, yeah, he freaked out a little bit. But, yeah, eventually he woke up, you know, given with a selfie lap pillow. So, not a bad way to wake up. Now, I don't think I commented on it, but I was a little bit confused about why suddenly they started to showcase the foreign language, right? This has always been a weird thing with this show. Well, just any show like this where you are sent to another world with a different language, and none of the characters speak Japanese, right? None of them do. They speak the regional language, but, you know, the main character learns that language either just by, you know, it's just part of the benefits of being isekai or whatever, but everyone speaks that language, but they can't just have the language be spoken with subtitles the whole time, right? Very few shows are willing to go that far because there's just so many potential problems with that. Like it's more difficult to voice act when you're speaking a fake language, for one thing. Like there's just many issues with it. So usually they do the it's like a filter where we hear Japanese, but they're not speaking Japanese, right? And that works fine for the most part until you have a character who actually speaks Japanese. At that point, it becomes very confusing about what's happening. You have to basically spell it out to the audience when you switch from one to the other and all that. And we did see a little bit of awkwardness here in this episode. But that's the only time where that strategy of filtering it like that, translating it for the audience's sake, breaks down. Or when you make a reference to like a phrase in your, you know, native language, that can sometimes be the case too. But yes, they speak that language here. So when does she whip out the paper? Yeah, do you recognize these? I mean, I could already kind of see where this was going at that point. But she showcases it in Shinohara Akito and Kuroki Satoshi. Very Japanese sounding names, that's for sure. But I don't recognize the names. Did she ever clarify where she got these letters? I mean, obviously her main question was just does he understand the language, which he does. But yeah, you can even tell just kind of the look that Sophie gives him. Like, what, do you understand that gibberish? Yeah. And she even said, which one of these two are you? Expecting him to be one of them. So that's interesting. But he doesn't even know who they are, so. Yeah, I don't think we clarified any further than that. And just poor Sylvia. What language even is this? And she didn't even know that most of the scene was going to revolve around that language. And she was just going to be completely left out. But yeah, and then right about here, they transition to it. As she takes off her mask and reveals her Japanese face. Which is probably why she wears the mask, because she's going to look different than everyone else. If she is Japanese and they're supposed to be like, you know, more European looking, which I think is supposed to be the implication. Kind of like Attack on Titan, you know, where you have the Oriental family, Mikasa's family, that, you know, look very different than everyone else. So similar idea, I would imagine. But yeah, I mean, already revealing that she from the same world, from the world that's him. Okay, we do get the name, yeah, Nanahoshi. I think she was called that when he first met her anyway, but I think it just kind of went out of my head. I guess even back then I should have thought about the fact that that was clearly a Japanese name, Nanahoshi, like 7 stars, you know? So, yeah, and Shizuka. I knew I got the name from somewhere. Nanahoshi Shizuka. I think it was called Shizuka, because that's easier to remember for me. But yeah, just flat out declaration that I'm Japanese. I am a cute Japanese girl here in this foreign isekai world. Let's become friends. But yeah, she's very excited to meet Rudy. So yeah, But basically, the rest of the scene is essentially, yeah, kind of explaining things. How, unlike him, who got very much reincarnated, she just got teleported over, so he gets his full-on isekai body and everything. Got to learn the language like a natural child would. Gets to grow up with that small amount of mana, make the conscious effort to expand it, grow it, to become a powerful mage, where she had no chance of that happening. She has a fully Japanese body, no magic in it, right? She's just here, has to make do. So even though they came from the same world, it's very interesting how, like, a world of difference there is between the two of them, like, from that level. So that's pretty cool, that they do have some big similarities, but also big differences, because you can do a lot with that. But yeah, it's just so cool that he finally has somebody he can talk to about the isekai-ness, because with the exception of Man God, nobody. He's had nobody to talk about that with, and I don't really count that. But yeah, even got the reveal that the mass teleportation incident was probably just a byproduct of her experiments, because she's trying to go home. So yeah, I guess if that doesn't go perfectly, there could be issues, but man, when Sylvie found out about that, she was not happy, understandably, right? Like, completely threw her life into chaos and, separated her from Rudy and, just her parents and all that. Just like, it was a turning point, like the episode title said, when it happened. Like, pretty much everybody who was affected by it probably considers it a bad thing, probably the worst thing that ever happened in their lives. Many people, I'm pretty sure, believe that. So when you find out who's responsible for it all of a sudden, yeah, you can't blame them for having a pretty strong negative reaction to that. But it still caught me a little bit off guard. Like, because Sophie is, for the most part, very kind, soft-spoken, chill, reasonable, person. So, yeah, it can really take you aback when you get a sudden reaction like that. But man, she has lots of complaints about this world. Which is understandable. Like, she grew up in a very different world, very different technology, food, morals, just everything, way of life. So, like, this world is worse in a lot of ways, and yeah, she doesn't like it. She wants to go home. But on the flip side, Rudy likes this place because he didn't really have a life in the other world. He just had a roof over his head and activities he did to pass the time. And of course, in this world, you can't do those activities anymore, like, being on the computer, playing eroge, watching anime, reading light novels. Like, a lot of that stuff, obviously, you can't do, but that's really the only drawback from his perspective. Like, he didn't have any real attachments or friends or anything like that. And usually that would be more of a draw for you to go back than material possessions would be, usually. Especially if you do make new bonds and stuff in this new world. Like, obviously, he doesn't know about Sophie, but there's Sophie. She left him, but there's also, Eris. There's Roxy. He has his parents. Like, he has real connections, people he cares about in this world. Unlike the other one, and he can also do cool magic in this world, just throwing that out there. So yeah, he has much less reason to go there. Like, she can't do cool magic. That's why she wants to leave. She's like, I got the isekai treatment, I don't even get cool superpowers, screw this, I'm going home. Pretty much her perspective. But just, yeah, like I said, poor Sophie, like, she had no idea what most of it was even going on here. Could you imagine if she didn't have that barrier? Because I assume the rings were what produced the barrier, but yeah, if she didn't have those set up, man, she would have got messed up right there. But man, they dropped so much on us. Like, definitely the kind of episode I'm going to rewatch to make sure I didn't miss anything too important. But yeah, just filled in so many gaps, so many holes. Got a new character. It's like new, like we met her before, but we never got to see her face. We didn't really know anything about her. But you can finally have a Japanese conversation with somebody after so long. Although I imagine you'd probably forget a decent amount of it if you haven't used it for over a decade. Like, I wonder how that would work. Obviously, if it's your native language, it's much less likely to forget it. Especially if you have spoken it for like 30 whatever years, because there are some cases when somebody's like 7 or 8, or, maybe a little bit younger, and they move to a foreign country where English is primarily spoken, and they make a conscious effort to just use that language, to fit in. Sometimes they do just kind of forget their native language. If you're young enough, that can happen, but he was like a 30-something-year-old adult when he got isekai'd. So even if he does go a decade or more without using the language, like, maybe you wouldn't forget too much of it. Maybe you might forget some of the big uncommon words, but I feel like, yeah, you could still probably communicate just fine for the most part, even if you don't use it for 10 or 15 years or so. If you do, yeah, if you do have like 30 years of using it. Either way, it's got to be pretty rusty. If nothing else, the reading's got to be much harder. Because Japanese, obviously, the written language is very difficult because you got your well over 2,000 kanji that can be read differently depending on what word they're used in, like, the onyomi, the kunyomi. Like, obviously, that... Well, if you don't read Japanese for 10 to 15 years, you could probably forget a decent chunk, actually. But spoken language probably wouldn't be so bad. But yeah, I think that's more or less all I needed to say. But yeah, obviously a lot went down on this episode, but yeah, definitely good stuff, definitely valuable stuff. So yeah, thank you for watching, and yeah, click the like button and support me on Patreon if you enjoyed the video, and hope to see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.